With Mike, he was now ready to move on to the big stage.
With plenty of money and
Mike is a typical agent, you know, he's come up the hard way. Like many agents, he's a bit of a ducker and diver. Again, that's not a bad thing. You know, he will make a deal happen. He'll find players for clubs. Jason and Mike really hooked up was Mike had all the connections and all the contacts in the world. And Jason was going to learn from that at the foot of one of the masters, if you like.
With Morris's help, Jason was capable of the big transfers like the Stam deal. He'd made a lot of money, but Stam brought Jason to the press's attention. Within United, the chairman was known to have warned Sir Alex about Jason's business activities. So what's been happening since the Stam deal?
New revenues out today. United ruined my wife.
I've been trying to get a clear picture of Elite's business as it stands at the end of this season. I've discovered that they have concentrated much of their efforts on signing up Manchester United players. Current first team members include Darren Fletcher and Roy Carroll.
And he's chipped the goalkeeper, and he's hit the mark, and the header goes by Toure, and it's a corner again.
Well done, Roy Carroll.
Elite have also become agents for South African Quentin Fortune, and not without controversy. His former agent, who looked after him from childhood, is currently suing the player. His reason? Loss of earnings. Fortune left his agent just before signing his latest United contract. The agent claims that pressure was put on Fortune to join Jason's company. Our investigation established for the first time that a large chunk of United players were with Elite. We managed to confirm, with sources in Elite, that they had at least 6 players among the United first team squad. 2 weeks ago, we put this to United. And this week, they astonished the football world by admitting that Elite had 13 United players on their books. The thing that links many of these players is their youth and the fact that many of them have come through the ranks at Old Trafford. Elite are representing the United stars of the future.
Is it going to help him while he's still got the legs?
Here's Fletcher for United.
Getting young players is a clever move for an agent.
They feel that if they get the guys when they're young and they're easily influenced and they're more impressionable and they get them signed down to a 3 or 4 year deal, then there's a chance they'll be in on the first move. They'll convince the player they've done them a great deal and the player will stick with them. They will go for quantity, as much as quality. Sign them all up. Let's figure, you know, one out of six players is going to move. It's going to make you a bit of money. Just sign them all up and throw it against the wall and let's see what sticks.
Jason has always had one big advantage over other agents: his access to Carrington, United's training ground. There's tight security, as I discovered.
Well, we've just come to the end of the public road, and that's the blockade, meaning you're not allowed to get in. It's kind of UN headquarters security.
We filmed for a few minutes before we were asked who we were and ordered to call the press office.
Sorry, is there a problem? I thought it was private property from that side. This is like the Wizard of Oz. I'm being talked to here by the head of Carrington Security, I think.
What's the story, mate?
5 minutes later, a young man came down in person to make sure we complied with their orders.
Hey, mate. What's that, mate?
Phone dialogue as soon as possible.
Phone who, sorry?
Dialogue, press officer.
Oh, right. Well, just to film out here?
Yes.
Obviously, Jason has a slightly easier ride than this.
Oh, right.
Ned Kelly used to be the head of security at Manchester United.
If I'm an agent trying to get into Carrington, what are my chances?
There isn't. Well, there's 2 chances. There's no chance in Slim, and Slim's out of town.
Why is that?
Because, you know, agents are not welcome there.
When Jason Ferguson turns up at Carrington, what's the situation?
Well, that's different. Well, he's a manager's son, and he would be allowed access. If he would turn up and say, oh, I'm here to see my dad, then you just allow him in. There's no questions asked.
Has this privileged access helped Jason to sign up United players? Ashley Dodd is a former United youth team player who now plays for non-league Hednesford Town.
Alex Ferguson doesn't like agents. He doesn't like agents coming to the training ground influencing the players.
Is it a different rule for Jason because he's the manager's son that he's allowed in?
I think that's a major factor. He's his son, he'll come round, speak to his players who he's represented by. He'll be able to come in, you know, whenever he can really. As far as other agents, they'll have to make an appointment with the manager to come and see the players.
Last Saturday, his team lifted the FA Cup. This week, his son was banned from acting for United. How has this whole Jason affair affected Sir Alex?
I've never seen Sir Alex Ferguson quite in the mood that he's in right now. There's a resignation about him. He loses matches normally, and you can tell it really hurts him. Now, I think there's been so much going on this season, all these questions being asked about him, that I think it's taken its toll. And I think if he could find a nice way to exit and go quietly and go with dignity, I could still see that happen. It could be that we're finally going to see the end of an era.
Manchester United refused to take part in our programme. Jason Ferguson refused to comment. The internal review says Jason Ferguson's company will no longer act for United, but they still represent 13 United players. Will the criticisms over Jason, aimed at both club and manager, now stop?
Unless Jason just gives the whole thing up, that will never really go away. If he stays in any capacity at all, if he makes money in any capacity at all from Manchester United transfers, the questions will never stop.
The review may be out, but United still haven't answered our questions. What about Taibbi? What about Jason acting without a licence? And is it acceptable that the manager's son continues to represent so many United players? Now his son's been on the front pages, will Sir Alex still be here come the next cup final?
Coming up next, it's Guinness's outrageous fortunes.
Sort of resonant.